We're going to talk about Eric July, and this is an interesting video because even though it is related to the Ripiverse, it speaks to a bigger story, I think, of what's going on with Eric July. Now, I only talk about Eric anymore when Eric does something that I think is quite interesting in terms of like what he does with his YouTube channel, what he does with his business. So Eric July announced today that he is partnering up with, let me make sure I get the name of this. I think it's Hatchet is the company that they're going to be partnering up with to do distribution. So Bumpkins in the chat here says, I remember when Eric July said that the direct market was outdated and that comic book shops were no longer relevant and that distributors are bad because they were a middleman and got a piece of the pie, which made profits on comic books even smaller. How times change. And it says here, this is Ripiverse Comic. Nearly 4 years ago, we launched ISOM #1. Today, we're announcing a worldwide sales and distribution deal with Hatchet Book Group. Now, this is pretty substantial because Hatchet is going to get Ripiverse books, for better or worse, into a larger market. For sure, 100%. Now, before we even watch this video, before we even get into this, Eric has been the middleman for people on YouTube for a while with Ripascent. So he's already been participating in that middleman market. He's already been doing that. So already it was sort of hypocritical for him to complain about the middleman. But then he would always like, twist and move and try to make it sound like, oh, but it's because they're a large company and we're an independent one and blah, blah, blah. Like there was always some excuse for it. Eric has been quiet now for about 3 weeks. I think that he hasn't been streaming for a while. All right, so the last video that Eric put on his main channel was over 2 weeks ago, and that was the stuff with Blurred and Comics Explained. That was the last one he did a couple weeks ago. And honestly, those two videos that he did, the ones about Comics Explained and Blurred, were the biggest videos he had on his channel outside of the one where he clickbaited with Critical Drinker. And I'm not kidding. I'm going to show you guys. I'm not kidding. He basically clickbaited a Critical Drinker style video. Let's look at it here. So this is Eric's channel. And on his channel, scroll down here, you can see that this was from 2 hours ago. This is the video we're going to watch. I owe you an explanation. But over 2 weeks ago, he put these two videos out. They did really good, 23K, 38K. Most of Eric's videos aren't doing 10K views, like 1.3K. Black Snape got him 20K views. But here, his Critical Drinker clickbait thumbnail gave him 61,000 views. So there you go. And I say it's clickbait because there's nothing there. It's designed to make you think it's Critical Drinker in that video. All that being said, here's Eric July giving us an explanation for why he is now going back on his word and aligning himself with a large distribution company. Let's do it.
What's good, everybody? I hope you're doing well today. And some of you may or may not know, we just had what is arguably our biggest announcement of all time here at the Ripiverse, in that we announced...
Bigger than the Todd McFarlane partnership? Bigger than that one? That one kind of... That was a little flop arena there on that one. But anyway, let's continue.
We have entered the sales and distribution agreement with Hachette Book Group, which is part of Hachette Livre, one of the top 3 biggest publishers in the world.
Right. So you are connecting yourself to a top 3 publisher. One of the things that you argued against, I don't even have to pull receipts. I think it's pretty well known that Eric has argued against this, which is why he's making this video. When he says, I owe you an explanation. I don't have to debunk this. I don't have to provide receipts. He knows that he's done this. He's already admitting he did it in the title of this video. Let's continue.
Basically what that means is exactly like it sounds. Our books will be sold and distributed through major retailers and wholesale buyers, and you're going to see it at big box retail stores. And
I thought that the key to success for your company was directly connecting with your audience, directly connecting with your buyers. I distinctly remember in the beginning of all of this, one of the big plus sides to all of this Ripiverse stuff, one of the big bonuses for the Ripiverse was that connection with your audience. You wanted to be different from Marvel and DC in that way. You wanted to make sure that the audience that you were connected to thought of you as just one of those fans out there, just one of those people who loves what they're doing. And you tried to do it for 4 years. And we've seen a decline in that. So this is why celebrating this as a victory is really interesting. It's really interesting because he's doing this because he has to do it. He has reached the ceiling of growth for the Ripiverse. Matter of fact, he had to take down his top floor. He was in a 2-story building. He had to get rid of the second story and make it a 1-story building because he couldn't even get up to the second floor anymore. So he's reached the ceiling on grifting his audience. He's effectively drained the pay pigs. I know some people don't like that term. He's effectively drained his viewers, all the ones that have defended him all this way. He has drained them so much that there's no money, there's no blood left to get out of his viewers. His audience is completely drained. He's like a financial vampire who's been feeding on his audience to the point where they're taking out loans and begging through GoFundMe's to buy his fucking comic books. This is where we're at. I'm not joking. That's not hyperbole. There is proof of people that have gone and made GoFundMe's to buy Ripiverse comic books. This has happened. This is real. He has bled his audience so much that there is no one left to get blood from. So he has to expand any way he can and downsize any way he can. And this is what he's doing here. This is what he's doing.
What have you, all of our books, and it applies to both Ripiverse as well as Ripasand. Did a video on Ripiverse.
Oh, so his distribution model, Ripasand, will now be distributed through Hachette or whatever the fuck, however you pronounce it. So now he's sending his Ripasand people. There's 2 people between you and your product. Now you go through Eric July to go through this other company to distribute your stuff. So you got to go through 2 people now. I wonder what that cut looks like on the other side. I wonder how much money those guys are making using an outrage grifter as their middleman.
Versus channels that you can go check out, going through the details and everything. That's not why I'm doing this video today. I just want to touch base with my audience and kind of let you guys in on what is
damage control. This is a damage control video. It's not highly edited. None of that. It is damage control for what he's doing.
Has happened here and what that more so means for myself. Now, you guys noticed over the last couple of years, I scaled back a lot on just general content creation, going from basically doing all those videos and streams, streaming every day, sometimes multiple times a day.
Right.
I was also doing a lot of individual videos every single day. And I scaled back on that, and I made a commitment to become a better professional for the sake of the customers, the fans, the business, and obviously my family. That's what they needed of me. And so all of that shit that your side of the internet gave to, say, Chris Stuckman when he said, I'm going to be in the movie making business, so I don't think it's ethically good for me to make videos shitting on people that make movies because there is some sort of a conflict of interest there that could affect my livelihood in the future. It could affect whether or not I get a chance to work in those spaces in the future. It could affect whether or not I get brand deals in the future, which we all know that's the reason why. We know that's the reason why. But you guys didn't like that. That was a problem for you. You said, well, you can certainly still criticize stuff. You can do all of that and still be a movie maker.
You're just bending the knee, Chris Stuckman. You're bending the knee to the woke mob. You're bending the knee to Hollywood, Chris Stuckman. That's what you're doing by not making the content you want to make because it would look bad for you and it would look bad for people associated with you. That's just giving in to the message, the woke Hollywood agenda. That's what you're doing, Chris Stuckman. So now we have Eric July essentially doing the same thing that Chris Stuckman did. Here's the crazy thing. It goes even deeper than that. I checked over on Social Blade at Eric July's account because I wanted to be comprehensive on this. All right, so we're looking at Eric's Social Blade here. This is from April of this year. You can see the dates here. I'm not a premium member, so I can't go through and look too far back. But you don't really have to. Look here. We got April 17th to April 29th today. This is interesting. On Thursday, it's confirmed that Eric lost another 1K subs on his channel. Here, on Friday the 24th, we see that 9 public videos were removed that got close to 100,000 views for his channel. He removed 9 videos. Now, I couldn't find out which videos they were. I looked through, couldn't find them. But 96,000 views, almost 97,000 views, disappeared from his channel after he removed those 9 videos. And then down here, we see there's no video being removed here, which means they were probably deleted, totaling 11,533 views on his channel in the negative. So in the last week, he's gotten rid of over 100,000 views from his channel, which means he's removed or deleted videos from his channel.
It was a growing kind of period for me. It was a lot of growth there. And in between that time, I also recently became obviously a father since creating the versions. There's a lot of in my life just changed. Right. And for the better. And I needed to take this business seriously. And it was just unprofessional of me to do those streams and videos, especially talking about other businesses and what they're doing. Just didn't make any sense with me running my own. So I had.
So no more negative stuff about internet channels like the Comicsgate channels and stuff. You're not going to talk about them anymore. You're not going to shit on the big companies like Marvel and DC, all of those places. We're not doing that. We're not going to see that from Eric July anymore. That's interesting. I wonder if those were some of the videos that got deleted because now that he's connected with this top 3 publisher, he's going to be bumping elbows with other people in the industry. And that might cost him a job. It might cost him a connection with somebody. He may end up not being able to do XYZ with artists and writers and collaborators from Marvel and DC. So he's quietly getting rid of them. He's quietly removing them from his channel. I don't think this is the last bit of videos that get removed from Eric July's channel. I think all that outrage stuff, the anti-trans stuff, the anti-gay stuff, going after businesses, calling out people for being groomers and all of these other things, all of that shit is gonna have to go. He's gonna have to get rid of it. Literally, the only way for this to work for Eric July is to rebrand his channel entirely. He's gonna have to rebrand his channel entirely. And all of a sudden, all of those things that he so passionately believed about vanish into thin air. It's like a Thanos snap. Trans people hate, snap it out of the existence. Gay people as groomers, snap it out of existence. Going after other comic creators on YouTube, snap it out of existence. All of these things are going to slowly disappear because he needs to make money, and he realizes being an outrage grifter that's not willing to suck up to all these other people doesn't work. This is literally showing that anti-woke is go broke. That's what this is. The narrative of get woke, go broke, all of that falls apart when you find out that a company that founded itself, regardless of what he says, he knows it's true, that founded itself on anti-wokeness. He went on several right-wing media outlets and podcasts and even Fox News to talk about this. It was founded on that. There's not enough money in that space for dog shit comic books. You can't do it. There's not enough money.
To commit to being a much better professional, and a lot of blessings had come along the way. I met some awesome folks along the way, and I want to give a big shout out to a shared book group.
What about the legend
look,
Chuck
we said
Dixon?
no to a lot. I say it all the time how we've turned down as much money as we've made,
Right.
because a lot of that would have compromised our integrity.
Right.
But with this one, we said yes to it, and it was obvious because they were all about making the Riververse continuing to be what made it what it is today. And
but wait a minute, hold on. So you're losing some control over it? Why would he say this? Why would you say that they're going to continue to make the Rippaverse as great as it is today? Wouldn't it be if you're still in control? Why would it matter what they think if you're the person running the Rippaverse? Something doesn't make sense here.
We said yes to it, and it was obvious because they were all about making the Riververse continuing to be what made it what it is today. And just now we added this missing link, this channel that we never had, access to. Yeah, we sold to shops and everything, but this goes well beyond just like comic shops buying, and housing Rippaverse material. You're talking big box libraries, and it's worldwide. It opens us up to be.
So why didn't you do that yourself? Why didn't you, if the Rippaverse and Rippasin were on the upswing, what was preventing you from making those kinds of deals with your company? Why couldn't the Rippaverse come up with some deal that puts them in all the shops? Did you hit a roadblock? Did somebody find your YouTube channel and saw you calling gay people groomers and they're like, I don't know, we're going to partner with this guy? Is that what happened? What was preventing you from making that same deal with your own distribution model? It's your company. You can do whatever you want with it. But you had to go to somebody else. Because that other company doesn't have their hands dirty with outrage grifting, calling gay people and trans people all kinds of names. They don't have that. Which is why you went through and removed 100,000 plus views from your channel quietly. You quietly removed them. That's interesting.
Having, I guess, two-half translations in other languages and being able to put those in front of potential buyers. Right. Like it just means the absolute world to me. And I'm so very, very thankful of all of you guys that have helped support us along the way. But that required a lot of change from me. And I scale back on that content.
Any of his supporters that are sucking this up, man, good for y'all. Good for y'all. I'm glad that you can watch someone that you've supported all this time concede on all of their values. I'm glad you could do that and still support him. I think that's wonderful. I think it just goes to prove that values from certain people only matter as far as their pocketbook stretches, as far as their wallet stretches, as far as their bank account stretches. It's good to know.
I just want to really just say directly, it's not returning. That type of content and volume is not returning. The original content that I will be doing is original content, talking about.
Oh my God. He's not going to make outrage content anymore because it could fuck up his deal with this publisher, this distribution company. It could fuck it up. And he is so worried about that. Like, this is fucking... All you people that fucking bought into this look so fucking dumb right now. I mean, you already kind of did. We have one in the chat already. Someone over here who's trying to, like, what are you, Shine Comics, what are you standing on, man? What are you standing on? What values here is he showing that represent anything that you started following him for? That he can be capitalistic? Congratulations. You have capitalistic values, and everything you stand for can be bought and sold. You'll even delete videos from your channel quietly to prevent yourself from looking bad, because folks like you will go around and defend him at every turn. You're doing the actual thing that he says he doesn't want to do anymore, which is even funnier. And you're doing it for free. You're doing it for free. That's extra sad, man. You keep in saying that I'm coping. Your dude just gave in. Your dude just conceded. He threw in the fucking towel. This isn't a victory. Like, bro, like seriously, you don't gotta like me. It really doesn't matter. And your opinion of me means fuck all to me. Your opinion of me is none of my fucking business. But here's the deal. Your dude just threw in the fucking towel, and here you are defending him on my stream. This is crazy, man. You can do better for yourself, bro. You don't have to follow this. Like, you don't have to be a part of this at all. It's done. The Rippaverse party as it was is over.
The Rippaverse doing videos and stuff and running the business. That's what I will be doing with my time. And I'm very appreciative of everybody that I met along the way. And all of you awesome folks that have been supportive of both myself and obviously the company. And I don't knock anybody who's like, well, I went to you because of your video game reviews, or I came to you for, you know, comic reviews and stuff like that. And I'm not necessarily interested in you doing your own thing. Totally understand that. I'm not knocking that at all. If that's how you found out about me and that's what you're interested in, I get that. And a lot of people, you
know what that is? You know what that is? That is, I know my channel is losing subscribers, and this is my excuse for that. I know if you found me because I did XYZ and now you're unsubscribing from my channel, I understand. I'm not going to knock you for it because I just shined this big deal with this comic book distribution company that's going to distribute our comic books around the world. I signed this big deal with them, and they're sending me lots of paychecks to do this. And now I don't have to sit on here and panhandle outrage anymore. So I understand. I get it. I get it. All you guys who go into the comment section and chill for me, I get it. I get it. You're not going to get it. All the content that I was making before that you actually followed me for, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to take this paycheck over here. And all you guys can do is sit in the background and continue to shill and bootlick for me while I just continue to move further away from my values. I understand.
There's other content creators that are out there doing some awesome things that's what they do. They create content they're not really into, let's say, like, you know, having their own comic book company, and that's okay. And there's awesome folks out there that are even, you know, obviously we're friendly with that do great material if that's what you're in for. But my time needs to be dedicated.
But you literally just called that unprofessional at the beginning of this video. So what does this mean for the people that write for you? You got a bunch of outrage grifters on YouTube that write for you. That's really interesting. So like as Nerdrotic, all those guys that are writing stuff for you, that's okay. That's cool. All right.
To the Rippaverse and everything that we're doing as far as publishing and all the dreams that have come true for me. I want to make sure that we see them through, and I don't take this for granted. And so that is not happening again. I may do a video from time to time, like talking about what's going on. Like, you know, I'm an economics guy, and I like to talk about that.
That's so entertaining. More, yeah, that's entertaining.
Neutral. And
if you want to see how well his business videos are doing, go look at his business channel to see how many people give a fuck about him talking about economics. Go check that channel out. I'm gonna let you do that on your own. It's a little homework. Go see how many people give a fuck about that. Anyway, let's continue.
That I'm not necessarily talking about other people's businesses and how they're doing things. I'm talking about just like the general economy. Of course, I will do that. Still gonna be you know, to jump into people's streams and interviews from time to time. And I obviously am going to touch base with you
to promote your stuff, because otherwise you sit there quietly. But go ahead, continue.
You guys, in fact, that's probably going to be the bulk of my content, especially like on my YouTube channel, is going to be me popping in for a stream for like an hour to touch base with my audience on everything that's going on. And that's about it. And then everything else is Rippaverse. Everything else is Rippaverse.
So he's tapped out. He's legitimately tapped out.
Reverse on my family, but if it's not pertaining to my family, it's about the company and making sure that's ran efficiently. Because now we've kind of entered the big leagues, especially, and I have to see it through. Right. I absolutely have to see it through. This is life changing, guys.
So you became everything that you railed against. Congratulations. Congratulations. Every single thing that you stood for as an independent comic studio and all the people that bought into this pyramid scheme, whatever the fuck it is now at this point, everybody that bought into it, now you get the bonus of Eric July's not making content anymore, unless he's jumping on to chat with you guys for a little bit, or he's giving you a lesson in economics or talking about random economy stuff. Those are the things he mentioned here. If that's what you want from him, you're good. Anything else you want, any sort of commentary at all, it's gone. It's gone. I'm pretty sure we're going to see a scaling back of a lot of stuff when it comes to the Rippaverse. And like I've said from the beginning, I don't care if the Rippaverse exists. I don't care if it goes away tomorrow. I don't really give a fuck about the Rippaverse as a brand, to be quite honest. What I find really interesting, and the reason why I'm talking about this, is because Eric July is an outrage or ex-outrage grifter on YouTube who spent almost a decade, almost as long as some of these other guys, building up an audience who also believed in all of those things. Anti-gay stuff, anti-trans stuff, anti-diversity, anti-women. All of these things were things that were cultivated in his community. And over the last 3 to 4 years with the Rippaverse, he's slowly been trying to figure out how that fits into a market where he's trying to sell comic books to an audience. And you can't do it that way. You're going to hit a ceiling. And he hit the ceiling. This video is proof that he hit the ceiling. I got people in the chat trying to excuse his behavior when this video is an apology to his fans. This is literally I'm sorry, I gotta explain myself to you guys as an apology. That's what this video is. And y'all are still supporting it. You're still running defense for him. Because you have been indoctrinated into the system, and you still don't see that the system that was there is no longer there anymore. He's not doing that anymore. He's not your guy anymore. When someone has all the things that they valued, all the things that they were a part of, go away, when that disappears, and you're still supporting them, then you are blinded. Blinded. It's crazy. We got a few minutes left. We're going to try and finish this video up. Let's see how far we can get.
And like I said, I'm very appreciative of you guys. So look, everybody that has supported us since Ice, I'm number one. That book has sold over 100,000 books to date. And everybody that got in, wherever they got in, some of you didn't get in at Ice, I'm number one. It was a little later. I'm still appreciative of you guys. And obviously we want to welcome everybody that's new, that is now going to be able to have access to our books. I appreciate you guys so much, because like, you have made our dreams come true. And as I mentioned in that video, nothing changes as far as like our content. I'm still the sole owner. We're still doing the direct to consumer approach. That channel is still going to be there. It's just now we have another, we'll say, wing there. And
for now,
it does not require us to compromise. That's the important thing. And that's what they cared about. It does not compromise what we are already doing. And that's what.
Then why did you remove several videos quietly, over 100,000 views on your channel without any notice whatsoever, right before you made this announcement and right before you made this apology video? Outrage content isn't the tea anymore. And you're not going to be able to make money as a company in the market if you're catering specifically to one side. You said this before. You said it about woke stuff, diverse stuff, that the reason why they don't work is because they're catering to a niche audience. That's the same thing you were doing, and you're realizing it doesn't work now. So you should have taken your own advice from day one. But now you got a bunch of people running around defending you at every turn for every decision you make. I'm going to be honest. If you can't be critical of someone at any point in time for anything they do, it's a red flag for me. It's a red flag. You have to be able to look at something and realize they are not above reproach. They're not infallible, and be able to give honest opinions about stuff. I have lots of opinions of Disney, of Marvel, of DC, of Warner Brothers that are not positive opinions of them. There's a lot of content creators that I've streamed with, that I go on their live streams with, I've made videos about, that I don't have positive opinions about them, even if I consider them to be people that I fuck with. You know what I'm saying? 100%. So, yeah, this isn't a good thing for people that supported Eric all this time. If you're somebody that loves outrage, it's RIP the dream. Eric can't go back now. He made his bed. Now he's got to lay in it. The hate spewing can only go so far. Yeah. So remember, like, all of this stuff, if you think about it, all of it makes sense, right? We've been covering this on my channel. Go back. There's videos about it over the last couple months. We're seeing diminishing returns on outrage content. YouTube is flagging channels and bringing them down for this kind of stuff. Melody Mack has admitted this. The Quartering has admitted this. And Eric knows that. Eric lost another 1K subs. This is why coming in the chat and arguing in favor of Eric July is so funny to me. He's been bleeding subs now for like 2 years. Literally bleeding them. At this point, he's lost about like 30,000 subscribers in a couple of years. He has lost 30. I want to say this again. He has lost 30,000 subscribers in, like, to be generous, like 2 years. 30K have actively unsubscribed from Eric July. What's the excuse for that? If it were happening to everybody, we would see it on every channel. You would see it on Quartering. You would see it on Nerdrotic. You would see it on Geeks and Gamers. You would see these big, massive subscriber dumps. But it's not happening for everybody. It's just Eric July's channel. So once you look at the bigger picture, you're like, what's the excuse for that? What's the reason for it? Kind of crazy. But anytime, so the good news is, this is why I wanted to watch that video. We're going to wrap up the Eric July stuff here for me anyway. We have someone who is actively rejecting making outrage content. Eric July just admitted that there's no reason for him to continue to make outrage content. It is actually more profitable for Eric to not do that. Think about that for a second. It's more profitable for Eric July to not make anti-gay, anti-trans, anti-DEI videos anymore. It's not profitable for him to go after actors and directors and companies. These are all things that actively, years ago, would have been the thing that made them the most money. He's standing up and saying it doesn't make the most money. Doesn't make sense for him to do that kind of content. So he's moving on for it. So for me, this is a victory. It's one less media grifter that's making that kind of content. So now the good news is I may not have to cover Eric July ever again. That's exciting. This might be the last Eric July video that I ever have to watch.